Hello there and welcome to today's Pleasure Beach Experience video. I've been joined by Becca and today we're taking a look at which UK park we think is going to get an RMC first. This is on the back of me going to the Untamed preview event at Wallaby Holland a couple of weeks ago, and there was a lot of talk after it on Twitter especially about when is the UK going to follow Wallaby and get an RMC. Before we dive into it, Becca wants to have a little bit of a chat about RMCs before we get started, so on you go.
So throughout this I want to make it very clear that I have never been on an RMC. Not really through any particular reason, I just haven't had the chance to do one yet. I'm not looking at this as I like RMC, I want one here, or I don't like RMC, I don't want one here. I'm looking at this more of a practical, genuinely what we think, because you've been on RMCs, I haven't, but I'm not looking at it as a do they ride well, don't they, because I don't know. Yeah,
we are very much on the fence with it really, because I've done two RMCs like Becca says. I've done one that's seen as the world's best roller coaster in Steel Vengeance, which for me is incredible in terms of the layout, but I'm still struggling to enjoy it because of the restraints, whereas strangely Untamed has the same restraints, but I enjoyed it a lot more, but I think it was down to the pacing. But there is a review from Untamed on the channel. I am going to do an individual review of Steel Vengeance soon, from just talking from my perspective of why I don't get on with it as much as other people do. So that'll be on the channel soon. If you've not caught the Untamed review, there'll be a card in the top of the screen for that one. But let's kick in. RMCs in the UK, there's been a lot of rumours about it. Where's it going to happen? So we're going to run through a couple of the parks that we think would look at it but might not get one, or would look at it and might get one. So we'll start with Alton Towers. Recently opened the Wicker Man last year. In my opinion, I don't think they're ever going to go down the RMC route unless it's an RMC Raptor.
I don't think they'll go RMC. I think if they were going to, they'd have gone all out, first wooden coaster, big RMC.
Yeah.
I don't think they've got the space. Yes, there's lots of space in Alton Towers, don't come at me with that one. But I don't think for an individual ride like an RMC, to get the height, to get everything they need, I don't think they've got space. I think they'd have to replace the Smiler. I think that's the only genuine place they would get an RMC.
And you might even have to take Oblivion out as well.
Yeah, they'd need the height. They'd need somewhere low to get the height. And I think the Smiler is the only place. Unless
they took Nemesis out, which I just can't see.
So yeah,
I think
rather than go with the Smiler.
I think they would have gone with the Wicker Man. I mean, going back to when we did the Meet the Makers event at Alton Towers, when the Wicker Man was nearly open a couple of weeks before it, there was talk then that they had looked at RMCs potentially being SW8, but they went with GCI and went with the Wicker Man as it is, which I think was the right decision for Alton Towers. And I don't think, in terms of getting a topper track or an iBox RMC, I can't see it happening at Towers. Maybe they'll get one of the Raptor tracks, which, if you're wondering what that is, it's a single rail one. So it's like Rail Blazer and Wonder Woman have recently opened as single rail RMCs. But I think for Merlin, I think they always look at capacity when they open a new coaster, especially when you look at the Wicker Man being on 3 trains. I think that's something that they would look at, and I think I don't think that Alton Towers will go with an RMC.
No, I don't think it's for them. They're quite balanced in kind of family and thrill.
Yeah.
I don't think an RMC fits that.
No, I think an RMC is full on thrill, and I'm not sure it quite fits the market that Alton Towers are looking for.
Towers are pretty balanced in that respect.
So yeah, I think we can move on from Towers, but let us know in the comments, do you think Alton Towers is ever going to get an RMC? Do you want them to RMC the Wicker Man? I have seen people suggesting it. Don't think that's going to happen. Moving on to the next park, and one that's very topical for this channel really, is Blackpool Pleasure Beach. So we've got, of course, 4 wooden roller coasters at Blackpool Pleasure Beach these days. You've got the Big Dipper, you've got the Grand National, Nickelodeon Streak and Blue Flyer. Well, Blue Flyer, it's not going to happen. Nickelodeon Streak, it's definitely not going to happen. There's not enough space. I think to RMC Nickelodeon Streak, you would have to take out the whole of Nickland. There's just not enough space. Big Dipper, its location lends itself to it a little bit more than any of the others.
Island, basically, through the park. It's not.
I think because of its footprint and the way that the rides are so close with the Big Dipper, and you think about the way that Icon interacts with it, Steeplechase, Big One, Infusion. I just don't. And then as well, you've got the Big Blue Hotel. I don't think. Oh, and Pleasure Beach Express.
Yes.
I don't think you've got the footprint there. I know it's a long coaster and it's like pretty direct.
But it's an out and back, and that's not really the RMC thing from what I've seen.
I think you'd struggle just with the supports because the RMC supports are so big. It's such like a beast of a roller coaster, especially like Steel Vengeance. The supports are just so big.
But on that subject as well, Pleasure Beach, the land, don't think is suitable. It's sand. It is a beach.
Yeah.
It got its name from somewhere. It was on the beach. That was always the beach.
The thing is, there is always a lot of comments about RMC, the Grand National, RMC, the Big Dipper, RMC, Nickelodeon Street. And I understand that it comes from the excitement of RMCs are fairly new and there's a lot of excitement around them. But I think you look at the practicality of it, and I just don't think it's possible with Pleasure Beach Woodies because they haven't got like the concrete supports of say like the Big One or Icon. Those Big Ones built 50 foot into the ground. The supports on the Big One are so far into the ground that Big Dipper, Grand National, Nickelodeon Street, they don't have that. That wasn't how coasters were built in the 1920s and 30s. And I think with an RMC you couldn't just turn Big Dipper into... You couldn't just give it RMC track. I think the weight of the track and the trains would probably collapse the structure on the first test run.
Yeah.
So I think we're not... I know straight away it's like Alton Towers, it's not happening, Pleasure Beach is not happening. It is just our opinion, it could happen. I mean, there has been a couple of rumours that the Big One has been looked at as a potential RMC conversion in terms of completely keeping the structure but changing the track. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Big One... I
think they'd probably just retrack it instead.
Yeah.
I don't think that's far off either.
No, I think the Big One is due a retrack in the next couple of years. I mean...
I think they might even do something like the first drop, say this winter. It could be that soon. I mean, it needs it.
Yeah. Well,
my back says it needs it, so...
I think the thing with the Big One as well is that for so many years now, people have been saying it's been getting rougher, and a couple of us, me included, have been saying, nah, that's not the case, it's not the case. Having been on Magnum recently and seen how smooth it was, and it's 5 years older than the Big One, I'm going, okay, yeah, I agree, the Big One probably needs some track work now. And I think it's going to happen in the next couple of years, maybe next 2-3 years. I don't think a full retrack's coming. No. I think that's probably a bit much, but I think we might see first drop, the turnaround, and the bit over Infusion.
I mean, the positive thing with that is we've seen them looking at the track, we've seen parts being checked. So I think it is actually a real possibility of that, but not for RMC.
No, I think maybe RMC might help with the track design.
Yeah.
I mean, Alan Schilke did work for Arrow, so he might look at redesigning it potentially but I don't think it'll be an RMC itself.
No.
So that takes us on to the next park. Again, let us know in the comments, will the Pleasure Beach get an RMC? It's one that gets talked about the most, other than another park which we'll get onto for having an RMC. Of course, I think a lot of you will probably hope that the Pleasure Beach do get an RMC, and I hope the UK gets one, but I'm not sure Pleasure Beach is the right park for it.
I think for Pleasure Beach, not an RMC, but I would like to see someone step in and do something with the Grand National.
Yes.
Do just some kind of magic on it, just to spice it up a bit, make it a bit more rideable, freshen it up.
As an example, GCI helped Coney Island with the Cyclone. They rebuilt the last couple of sections. They've redone the track for them, so that is a lot smoother than it used to be. Apparently a lot of people are saying it's a lot smoother now than it was 5 years ago, for example. So that is something to definitely consider, because I think a lot of us have said as well that Grand National's a bit rougher than it used to be, that's for sure. So let's move on. Like I say, let us know in the comments what you think. Will the Pleasure Beach get an RMC? Let us know what you think about the Big One being retracked too. I know it's not completely topical, but kind of is. It's a bit somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, there is a good chance of it, I think.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what happens with that one. Watch this space.
Yeah. Might not be this year, next year, whatever, but I think it's coming.
I think it's coming. Drayton Manor. I think that's the next high profile part that we can discuss.
Yeah. No.
No? Why not?
I don't think it suits the park. I don't think it'd be their kind of thing. I couldn't actually imagine anywhere at Drayton where it could go. And again, I think it's too much of a thrill ride for there. They've got Thomas Land. They can't have Thomas Land and then thrill seekers. I don't think it works. They've got to keep the balance. I don't think RMC would do that for them.
I think the thing with Drayton Manor is that it's very much Thomas Land now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to throw a little curveball in here. I can see Drayton Manor getting an RMC Raptor. I think that's rather than
more gimmicky.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that probably does fit. To be fair,
something that could replace G-Force maybe. G-Force is obviously due for removal at some point. It's still standing SPNO currently, but
it's better than a penal.
It probably is. You're right. Did you know there's a clone in Iraq? If anyone wants to go and ride it, just thought I'd mention that.
No,
someone's been looking at RCDB a bit too much.
Yeah.
But I'm not going there.
Why would you even want to know if there was more than one of those?
I'm just intrigued.
So there was only 2 people daft enough to buy it then?
I think there's a couple more.
Oh god.
But I don't know.
Avoiding those ones.
Yeah, them and Velez. Yeah, that's them Zamperla flying things.
Yeah, we won't.
So yeah, I think Drayton Manor's a possibility.
The single track, yeah, but not the RMC that everyone's currently imagining.
Yeah, I think that an RMC Raptor is definitely a possibility at Drayton Manor. Where it would go is debatable, but I think that they could get one of those. I think it's a kind of curveball that Drayton like to throw. I mean, Shockwave was a bit of a ambitious project.
Yeah.
It's the only one in the UK, the only stand-up coaster, thank God. Of course, then G-Force, that was the only one of its kind. Drayton is probably the park that will surprise us all and get the RMC Raptor. I know they've probably not got the money for it at the minute, but if Thomas Land continues to do well and Drayton continue to advertise their park as well as they've been doing lately,
they do like to do it pretty well.
I think that they could be the one that gets the Raptor.
Yeah,
and if they get an IP for it, maybe, I don't know what kind of IP they could get for it, but if they got an IP for it to go with, I mean, they used to have Ben 10, obviously it's now just called Accelerator, you've got Thomas Land, so they're good at getting IPs, so they could get an IP and have some sort of RMC Raptor, so I think they're a possibility.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah, fair enough. So, yeah, let us know in the comments, Drayton Manor, will they get an RMC?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think what part we should discuss next. I think
Whoa.
Flamingo Land?
Yeah, let's go with them.
Yeah.
I think it's the kind of thing that if they had the money, Flamingo Land would just build.
Yeah.
I think they would just go for it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'd suit them.
I don't know.
But it could potentially work for them in the fact that every enthusiast in the UK would just, it'd be like magnet.
Yeah.
Everyone would be there.
Yeah. I think the thing with Flamingo Land is we all know now that they're building the Colossus clone, which is, I think, due to open in 2020, which is something that we're going to look to cover on the channel once the construction properly starts and it does open up. We'll hopefully be there on the opening day to cover that. So that's something that really you've got to take into account with Flamingo Land. It's pretty unlikely that they're going to be looking at saying, yeah, we'll get an RMC in 2021 or 2022.
Yeah.
But if this Colossus clone does really well for them, why not? They might, again, I don't think they'd get like a Steel Vengeance iBox sort of RMC. I think, again, they'd go with a Raptor. They're not a park that worries about capacity.
No, I think they would go with
a big one.
I do. I think it's a kind of park that would go, you know what, let's just have one of them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the restrictions are at Flamingo Land, but can you imagine if they went for the tallest coaster in the UK on an RMC? That would, I think that would propel them to being probably the most visited park in the country.
It would certainly help. Whether it'd have the long term effect that they'd like, they'd have to keep building on it.
Yeah.
But because I think it'd feel like a bit of a mismatch.
Yeah, I mean,
compared to the rest of the park.
I mean, they've obviously Kamali's a big coaster. You got a big SLC there, but a lot of their recent coaster additions have been not so great unless you're just a one-time visitor. But as an enthusiast, I'm not really a fan of stuff like Mumbo Jumbo and Hero, stuff like that. But it works for them, and their visitor numbers are excellent now.
That's why I'm not sure that an RMC is the right thing for them.
Yeah.
It would be the kind of thing I think they would go for, but it wouldn't be right for their typical visitor.
Yeah. I think a Raptor, again, it's a weird looking...
Yeah.
You can have some pretty weird transitions. I think we need to get you watching some of them Raptor POVs and then you might see what I mean.
Oh no, I've seen it and I do know exactly what you're talking about. I'm just not sure.
You're just not sure.
myself.
Yeah,
But again, I've not been on one, so...
Yeah, I haven't been on one of them. So if you have, let us know in the comments. Are they any good? I'd be interested to know. I would like to do one, but there's not many of them out there at the minute. But I think Flamingo Land, like Drayton Manor, I think they could throw a curveball and they could be the first UK park that gets an RMC. I really do. Now we've missed out Fantasy Island in Ingled Miles. I just don't know where they go. I know they've...
No, but it would be hilarious to see.
Yeah, it would. But it'd never be open because of the wind.
Yeah, that's
true. It would
true.
always be closed like Odyssey.
They could scrap Odyssey and get an RMC. I'd actually be happy with that.
I just don't see that happening somehow. It'd just be nice to see them build some...
No, but the local scrap people might be.
Yeah, the local scrap people. I think someone would buy Odyssey, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think somewhere in the Far East would buy it.
Yeah,
That'd be interesting shipping costs. So I think we can move on, and I think the next obvious one is Lightwater Valley.
Now, I think these are the ones that need to get RMC in, and I think they should look at the Ultimate.
Yeah.
I think the way that the Ultimate rides would be similar to what an RMC... I think the way that the Ultimate should ride...
Is like an RMC does ride.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The way it lies on the land and everything, it does, lend itself to some strange turns and everything.
Yeah.
And I think adding in a bit of RMC in the middle of that would work quite well. And that kind of track as well would work better than what they've got.
Yes, definitely. Of course, the Ultimate's getting on a bit now.
Yeah, which is why I think it could do with a refresh.
Again, I don't know what the financial situation is at Lightwater Valley, but if they were to say have a one-off big investment, that could be the one where they go, right, the Ultimate's the longest coaster in the UK, let's turn it into the longest RMC in Europe. Yeah. And again, you're going to get a lot of people from mainland Europe coming over just to ride it.
Yeah.
They're going to come over and they're going to do Lightwater Valley, which is going to boost tourism in Yorkshire, and it's going to help that park as well. Get an extra bit of tourism. You never know, Lightwater Valley and Flamingo Land, they might both get one around the same time and then have a massive boost in that area. Can you imagine if, say, the Ultimate got RMC'd, like the conversion to the Topper track or iBox track, whichever one it would be. I don't know if they're the same thing. Please help me out in the comments if they are. I know they're similar. I have been looking on the RMC website at how many RMCs is out there. And I could just imagine, say, them doing the conversion on the Ultimate and turning it into just a full-on crazy RMC, like, hyper coaster.
I think that is the kind of coaster that can go crazy, and I don't think it'd ruin it.
No.
Whereas traditional woodies, I think there's no place for inversions and nonsense like that. But something like the Ultimate is a bit different, and it wants to be different, and you expect different.
Yeah, and as well, I mean, it's 5 years since we went on the Ultimate, and it was very, very rough 5 years ago. I can't even imagine how rough it must be now.
I'd be wearing a helmet.
Yeah, we actually headbutted each other on that completely by accident, but I just remember thinking, what if I just banged my head on and then we got back to we're both sat in the brake run holding our heads. Did we really just headbutt each other on that corner? Yeah. It didn't help that we were very sunburnt as well.
Yeah, that was unpleasant. That
was a rough night's sleep after that. It just wasn't very pleasant. Especially as you dismantled the bed I was trying to get on as well. It was supposed to be a double bed, but it was two beds pushed together and I just fell down the middle because someone had been messing around. But
it was hilarious, to be fair.
Yeah, for you maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Lightwater Valley's definitely an option.
Yes. Although, when I think about it, they probably need more as well.
Yeah.
They couldn't just go with just that.
I think they could.
I think they need a lot more in the park as well to sustain.
Yeah. I think they'd get away with it though. Because I think people would just go to ride the RMC.
Yeah, and that might be how they make the money for...
The thing is, they could build the RMC, they could get massive turnouts, loads of people go, one-time visitors. The next year they might go, do you know what, I'm going to get a season pass because I want to hammer that ride.
Yeah.
So they get a season pass the following year. 2 years later, Lightwater Valley announce the next big coaster, or they announce a big water ride or a big flat ride because they've got that much money.
Yeah.
Because I think an RMC of the Ultimate would probably secure their future for a very long time, because I think they'd get so much interest.
I do think it would be very popular.
Yeah, definitely. But again, like I say, you imagine if they did that to the Ultimate and then Flamingo Land announced they're getting an RMC Raptor, Yorkshire would be like, yes, lots of tourism. They'd do so well out of it.
The M1 would be a nightmare.
Yeah, it would. They need an extra few lanes on the M1. Oh. So that'd just be mad. But I think we can move on.
Yeah.
I think we've got a staple park we think is going to a definite possibility. I think, like we've said though, going back, Drayton Manor, Flamingo Land, Lightwater Valley, I think they're all options. And I think they're a lot more likely than Pleasure Beach and Towers, as an example. I really do. But let us know in the comments what you think. We've all got our own opinions on RMCs. Let us know where you think one might happen. I know so many people want Pleasure Beach to get one. I just really don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to find in a couple of years we're going to somewhere like Lightwater Valley to ride an RMC in England. Yeah.
It's just whether Thorpe Park beats them to it.
Yeah.
Because it has been talked about so much.
Yeah. So shall we skip straight to Thorpe? I was going to leave Thorpe to the end. We've mentioned it now. Let's do it. We're not doing this scripted, as you can probably tell. So yeah, we'll go straight to Thorpe Park.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Because one again is space. Thorpe's not exactly blessed with masses of land, is it?
No.
Some of the land, it doesn't appear to be that stable. You know, it is reclaimed land, a lot of it. So is it suitable for that kind of ride? But as well, as you mentioned before, Towers said they looked and that wasn't what they were going for.
Yeah.
Is that a Towers thing or is that a Merlin thing?
Yeah, exactly. So one of the rumours I've heard is that the reason that Merlin were put off by an RMC for Towers is because they were put off with wooden coasters for so long.
Yeah.
And that was based on market research that they'd done with not enthusiasts, they'd done it with the general public. And the perception was that wooden coasters were unsafe, they were rickety, they were old, and they weren't much fun. And that is why for so long Merlin said, we're not doing it. Now there was, of course, 2009 when Thorpe Park got sore, there was a lot of talk that they were going to build a wooden coaster. There's plans online. Can't remember what site it's on. I think it might be South Parks or Thorpe Park Mania, but it's definitely on one of those sites. There's proposed plans for a wooden coaster. I don't know exactly where. I don't think it's where Soar is. I think it was somewhere else in the park. It might even be where the Swarm is, actually.
Yeah, that's where I'm seeing it in my head.
But. Yeah, but there was talk of a wooden coaster, and it didn't happen back then. And I guess that is when Merlin did their market research and went, actually, people don't want a wooden coaster, so we're not going to get one.
Yeah.
Something changed, obviously, over a lot of time. I know that there was a campaign from the Roller Coaster Club of Great Britain for over 20 years campaigning to get the next wooden roller coaster in the UK, and I know that the Roller Coaster Club of Great Britain did a massive amount of work on trying to convince a lot of parks in the UK to build the next wooden coaster, and I think we can thank them for the Wicker Man, to be honest. I think they put in a lot of work in trying to convince not just Merlin but John Wardley and other parks as well to please get a wooden coaster, because I know there was a lot of talk that Flamingo Land were going to get a woody for ages as well. So I think, going back online to the subject, I think now Merlin have built a wooden coaster. They've seen that it works. Wicker Man has been a huge success for Towers. There's no doubt about it. It's very, very, very popular. And look at how it's drawn the numbers in. Towers have had amazing 2018. They've had a good 2019 so far, and I think it's really helped lift them back up from where they were after what happened with the Smiler. Because obviously, as you all know, Towers were in a bit of a sticky place for having to cost cut and stuff, but I think now we're starting to see Towers get back on the up. As well, than being able to open the dungeons shows that we made enough money, we can open another attraction. So I think Merlin are going to look at that, and I know Merlin's under different ownership now, but I still think that it's going to be very much the same for the first couple of years in what they're doing. And I think that Thorpe will go with the Woody. I think they'll just look at the Wicker Man and go, right, let's build the Wicker Man but bigger.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be a lot bigger than that, but I don't think it'll be an RMC. No,
I think it'll be GCI.
Yeah.
I do think it'll be GCI. I mean, I don't know for definite what's going to happen in any of the parks that we're talking about at the minute, but I just think Thorpe's nailed on to be the next park in the UK that gets a massive coaster. I think they're the next part that gets the big project. They get the Wicker Man or Icon, so to speak, where all the focus is on them.
Yeah.
And if I know Thorpe and I know how good their marketing team are, that will get so much advertising as well.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be everywhere on socials. It'll be good, that will. That'll be a good campaign, I reckon. I reckon it'll be like the Untamed one. I reckon they'll make a series and everything out of it.
Yeah.
And I hope they do.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, but I think that they'll go with a GCI, but I'm not ruling Thorpe out for an RMC. Because I think
I just don't think it'd work.
Do you not?
I don't feel like the land's suitable
No.
for how big the beasts are.
Yeah.
It's just doesn't seem right.
I just think if Thorpe are going to do a Woody or an RMC, I think they'll go big.
Yeah, I think they'll go big, but I don't know.
I think the thing with Thorpe is I think that now Towers have had their success with the Wicker Man, I think that they'll... I've just realised with Mr Merlin Park actually earlier on, Chessington. So we'll get back to...
We've got time.
We'll get back to that. But yeah, I don't know how we skipped over them. But yeah, I think that Thorpe's the next Merlin Park that gets a Woody. Whether it's an RMC, hybrid or an actual Woody, I don't know. But my money's on a GCI.
Yeah.
I think an RMC is something they've probably looked at or will look at again. But I think overall they'll go, Wicker Man was a huge success. Let's go with something that's already been successful for this company, but we'll make it bigger. But please, not another Wicker Man themed coaster. We don't need Big Bob 3.
No.
We've got Big Bob in Germany and we've got Big Bob at Towers. Let's have Big Jeff and theme it on something else. It's just something different than Big Bob, please.
Yeah.
We don't need Big Bob's Big Brother, do we?
Oh.
We just not fire themed, please. Just something different.
Yeah.
But I don't know what Thorpe would do, but I'm sure they'll do it well.
Yeah. They usually do.
Chessington then?
No chance.
Not for an RMC then?
It's a kids' park.
Yeah.
It's not for... We're not going to see anything massive there, and we're certainly not going to see an RMC. It's just not going to happen.
I think Chessington's another part nailed on for a Woody.
Yeah, it'll be one of these compact...
I think they might go the Gravity Group route rather than GCI.
Yes.
I can see them going with something like, what's it called? Heidi the Ride at Plopsaland.
Yeah.
Something with a small footprint like that. Or the one at Park St Paul, Wood Express. Just something with a small footprint. Something that's easy to give a bit of a Wild Western theme. And something along those lines. I don't think Chessington is the right park for an RMC.
No. No chance.
Just think they're too wild for their target audience. So out of the Merlin parks, I think Thorpe is the most likely.
Yes.
Unless we discuss Legoland. Will they get one?
Not going to happen.
No, not going to happen.
Along the same lines of Chessington. It's a kids' park, and unless you can make an RMC look like it's made out of Lego, not gonna
That'd be
happen.
cool. That would be cool. You gotta
Imagine
admit.
how much that'd cost.
Yeah, a lot of money.
In painting individual bits.
Well, the
different
Lego
colours
family are
and-
apparently rich. You never know.
Yeah, that'd take them years to sort out.
Yes,
that
it would. Definitely.
No, it's not right though. It's a kids' park again.
Yeah. So out of all the Merlin parks, what are we saying? Thorpe.
Thorpe's the only one.
Yeah, and we still think that'll be a GCI.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think a Gravity Group will go to Thorpe. I think it
No,
will
no.
be a GCI or an RMC.
Yeah.
But I think GCI. But you never know. Let us know in the comments which Merlin Park is the most likely in your opinion for RMC. Will it be Thorpe Park? There's so many rumours about Thorpe. It's not happening in 2020 though. It's not happening next year. They are not getting a coaster next year. I think if they were, they'd be talking about it now and we'd see footers. The campaign would
it'll
have
be a
begun.
Caterpillar coaster with how long they've got.
Yes, they've not got very long.
No.
Let's face it. I don't think Thorpe will get a coaster until 2022. I think it'll be 10 years since the Swarm when they get their next coaster.
Yeah.
And I think we'll start seeing something about it next year. But that's just a prediction.
Yeah.
Late next year though.
Yeah.
Like maybe October time. Tie it into their Fright Nights kind of campaigning. Because that is a big time of the year for Thorpe as well.
Yeah.
A great time of the year for Thorpe as well. So, next park. Oakwood.
Yep. I think an RMC is perfect for Oakwood.
You do?
Yeah. I think an RMC alongside what they've already got.
Megaphobia. Do you
Yeah.
forget its name?
Thanks for pointing that one out. But no, just generally they've got a lot of space.
Yes.
The landscape of the park probably lends itself to it as well.
Yeah.
It's a bit hilly on one side of it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think they could fit one in.
Oh, definitely. I think they could definitely do it. Whether they replace what they've already got, In terms of speed, you could potentially replace that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's not a very good coaster, but I think that area is perfect for an RMC.
Yeah, it's nice and open.
Yeah. You've potentially got, like you say, there's a lot of open space. So I don't think they'll RMC Megaphobia.
No,
I don't think that's ever going to
hope
happen. I think they'll look after Megaphobia.
Yeah, that just needs left alone. It's fine as it is.
It's a great coaster, Megaphobia.
Yeah.
It's just a shame it's so far away.
Yeah.
But this is what I was going to get onto. I think, like when they built Megaphobia, they threw quite a big curveball with that. I don't think many people at the time would have been expecting it. Not many people now are expecting them to do anything really, but you never know. You imagine if they got an RMC, everyone would be going to Oakwood, and all of a sudden they'd actually need to make the roads a bit bigger. Because
I'm fine with the roads.
Such a nightmare getting there though.
It's not.
It just takes forever. It's quicker to go to Wallaby Holland. It feels like it anyway. It certainly is on the plane.
It feels like it, but the drive to Oakwood is fantastic.
So I don't like it.
I do.
I prefer motorways to country roads.
As long as I can take my rally car, it's all good.
Yeah. I suppose that's what Fiestas are for, isn't it? But yeah, I think they're a possibility for a Raptor or an iBox. Or top of track, whatever that is. No, I just think it's a possibility that they could get one.
Yeah,
Throw as a curveball. Again, I don't know the financial situation of the park. I can't imagine it's on a par with Flamingo Land or Merlin, but I could imagine that if they wanted to throw everything at it, they maybe could go for a loan, get it. Because I think you get an RMC on a loan, you're going to get the money back.
Yeah.
As long as you advertise it. There is always that point of view, especially for somewhere like Oakwood. If no one knew about it, other than enthusiasts, then building one would probably put them out of business.
Yeah.
But I can't think of any other obvious UK parks. I mean, Polton's Park I've ignored because they are opening Tornado Springs next year, and that is a massive project. And again, I don't think that doesn't lend itself to an RMC. It's a family park.
Yeah.
We've never been, so it's difficult to say.
I don't think you'd see Peppa Pig Land and then an RMC next to it. It's not going to happen, is it?
No, I think if they were going to go down that route, they'd have done it with Tornado Springs, to be honest. But we're yet to try Polton's Park, but we are going to give it a go. I don't know if it'll be this year or if we're going to hold off.
Yeah.
It's actually closer than we realised, isn't it? Because we thought it was like 4 or 5 hours away, but it isn't. It's like, 3 hours?
I mean, for us, it's kind of weighing up when to go as well with Charlie.
Yeah.
Because I'm being so tall, but still slightly off of a lot of height limits.
Yeah.
It probably makes sense for us to drag him on that journey more when he's going to get on a bit more out of it.
I mean, you think about it, Tornado Springs probably going to open spring next year.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be tall enough to go on quite a lot of stuff there by that point. I think we've covered every UK park that would likely be getting one. A lot of rumours about certain places. Now, an interesting one for me really is you look at Sweden and Kolmarden got an RMC, which was totally out of the blue. Is somewhere random in the UK going to throw the biggest curveball ever?
Southport.
Oh, imagine. Can you imagine if
replace where Infusion was?
Yeah.
With an RMC.
That'd be mint. That would be cool. I know
considering how close it is to us, that'd be...
It would be nice. I mean, they've probably not got the money, let's face it, but that'd be so good.
It would be hilarious to see, to be fair.
Yeah, it was. At least it's not too far from Blackpool.
Yeah. You can wave at it from the big one.
Yeah, exactly. You definitely see it from the big one. But yeah, I mean, there is some RMCs out there that aren't, like, massive. I mean, a lot of them are, like, between 150 and 200 foot, but I'm sure there's a few that are around the 100 foot mark or between 100 and 150 foot, which could potentially suit somewhere like Southport, Flamingo Land, Drayton, just somewhere like that. The thing with the UK is we always seem to be so far behind Europe. As an example, we got a GCI wooden roller coaster at Alton Towers in 2018, but then you look at Toverland, they got Troy in 2007. Europe was getting GCI coasters well before the Wicker Man was even thought about in the UK. So is it going to be the same with RMCs? Are we going to wait ages to get one? Are we going to be talking about this in 5 years, still predicting where the first RMC in the UK is going to be? Because it could well happen. I mean, look how long we waited for a wooden coaster after Megaphobia. We waited for so long.
Yeah.
And I think it could be the same with RMCs. We could be talking about Steel Vengeance being 5, 6, 7 years old before we even see construction in the UK of the first RMC. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, really. So do you think it's going to happen soon?
I think the most likely, and it's a big if something else happens, and that's if this rumoured Paramount Park ever actually materialises.
Oh, that's a video in itself.
But I think going with a bunch of new things, it might be something there, although I'm not sure on the style of that kind of park might turn out to be. But I think that would still be more likely than anyone else.
Yeah.
At this point.
I think, just briefly on that subject, I'm really interested to know what you think about this Paramount Park thing in London. It's been rumoured for absolutely ages. But the way I look at it is Cedar Fairs and Six Flags bought all the Paramount Parks in America years ago. What has made Paramount Park think, do you know what, we want to start owning a theme park again?
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. But if it does, like you say, they're probably the park that'll get one.
The reason I think that it's more likely is because they've clearly got money to put into a new park. The ones that are more likely to have the funds to put into an RMC.
Yes, and a ground up one, they could look at it and go, we're going to make it 250 foot. We're going to get the UK's tallest coaster record.
It's not going to be difficult to plan it in when you start from afresh. You know, it's easier to say, oh well, no, we'll shift that a bit to there, and whereas all the current parks, you've got to think about, well, that ride's already there, that ride's there, and
biggest issue with parks in the UK is space or restrictions.
Yes.
It's like Pleasure Beach has no real restrictions, but they have no space.
Yeah.
Whereas Towers have got loads of space, but loads of restrictions, and that's the issue with the UK, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Pleasure Beach's restrictions, well, they haven't got one other than they can't build above the tower.
Yeah.
And anything over a certain height, they've got to go to the aviation law and civil law or whatever it is and find out exactly where they can put stuff because of the fly zone.
Yeah.
But in terms of permission, it's a long-standing agreement with Blackpool Council that they can build what they want. They don't have to, like, for example, Alton Towers have to get permission to do anything, whereas Pleasure Beach just do it because there was an agreement that's long-standing. Because Pleasure Beach owned the promenade, they sold that or gave it back to the council. Same with Watson Road cutting through the park. Because of that, Pleasure Beach has very limited restrictions, and they're not even got restrictions on opening times either. If you didn't know, the Pleasure Beach is a licensed to be open till 2 AM. It still says so in Noah's Ark. So, bit of info for you there in case you didn't know. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you think. Where in the UK is the first RMC going? It could be Chester Zoo. It won't be Blackpool Pleasure Beach. It might be Thorpe Park. It definitely won't be Poulton's Park.
No.
That's my opinion. And Chester Zoo was a big joke, by the way. But like I say, Colmarden, that's a zoo. And that got an RMC, so you just never know. But it just doesn't seem likely.
No.
Unless you call it Cheetah Hunt and just really annoy Busch Gardens and have a big RMC called Cheetah Hunt. But don't think it's going to happen, is it?
No.
But no, I think we're going to be waiting a long time in the UK. And I don't think we're going to see 4 Pleasure Beach Towers get one. I think it's going to be somewhere really random.
Yeah.
Like Oakwood, like Drayton Manor, like Flamingo Land, somewhere random like that.
Yeah.
I just think, or like Water Valley, like we say.
Yeah.
So yeah, let us know in the comments what you think. And thanks for watching. And we'll see you in the next Pleasure Beach Experience video.